Hey guys, welcome back to the Modern Star Wars Figure Playlist. I'm Scott Toy Guru Neitlich. Before we jump in today, I want to give a shout out to three sites I don't give shout outs to enough. And that's galacticfigures.com, aka Jedi Business, rebelscum.com, and banthaskull.com. I use a lot of images on the internet that I source from these sites. They are great sites for photo archives of Star Wars figures, so please check them out and support their sponsors. All right, let's jump into today's historic figure. And that is this giant chunk of immovable plastic. Okay, well, not this one, but carbonite blocks are giant chunks of immovable plastic, but they make great action figures. Isn't it crazy? It's kind of right up there with the Jack's Rocky meat figure, although, putting the carbonite with Han, although it does help. I mean, for the most part, the carbonite block is usually always sold as an accessory, like in the Black Series when it came with Boba Fett at San Diego Comic-Con. This was how I acquired my 6-inch Han Solo carbonite block. But it has been sold by itself. Again, meat block Rocky Jacks. Go Google it. It's quite shocking that they sold that anyone sold that. But yeah, I wish I got this, though. It's kind of visually cool and packaged. Now, even though the concept of Han and Carbonite was just sort of, shall we say, borrowed without permission from Valerian, as well as, like almost every other visual in Star Wars, but, that's a YouTube video for a whole other time. Go read Valerian, it's great. Carbonite blocks are part of pop culture. They've just transcended the movie, honestly. The idea of freezing a hero in an ice cube is just, well, it's something you can physically do now. And one of the things about Han Solo, no matter who's playing him, Harrison Ford, in the original movies, he's got good hair. He always has good hair, right? Han is known all about his hair, and the little-known secret, the reason for that is because, well, Han Solo is a Dapper Dan man, so, that's why his hair always looks so good. And the only time in the movie we ever see his hair fully slicked back and anything other than, a frizz is, well, this set here. Yep, the Jabba Palace cardboard playset with Han Solo. This was part of a series, well, a series of 2 releases, but they were several months apart, of cardboard playsets that came with an included action figure. And in the case of the Jabba Palace set, it came with an action figure that we've never had before and never had again. And that's Han in his post-carbonite, unfrozen Dapper Dan hair look. Yep, it is a unique Han Solo in carbonite for sure. Truth in advertising, as said on package. And what's truly almost crazy with all the redos we've never had a second crack at this. This is the only figure ever made of Han Solo when he comes out of the carbonite and is brought before Jabba in chains, I guess. Now, the vintage line, the retro line, the original line, whatever we're calling it, the Kenner one from the 80s, it did have the notorious no-neck Han that came with a carbonite block, and you could put Han in the block and see him through the reflective plastic, which was very cool, but it wasn't screen accurate, because everyone knows that Han puts his hands in the air like no one care when he's frozen in carbonite. We got a more screen accurate version packed in with the Power of the Force 2 original release from the third wave, the one that had Shadows of the Empire, and then, of course, this figure was re-released in the Green Series, and then remade, as all Star Wars figures pretty much are, over and over again throughout the life of the line, because, hey, when you've been going 30-plus years, you're going to now need to redo figures. What originally seemed a crime against toydom has now become completely acceptable. But for all the redos we've had, this is it. Only one figure ever done, 5 points of articulation, plus the coolest carbonite accessory of them all. I love this one. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's just so cool to have a used up carbonite block. I'd love to have more of a Bespin one with like kind of maybe the orange lighting look. But yeah, we've had a lot of Jabba Palace ones, and we've even had carbonite blocks showing Han in mid-melt, which as a kid, I thought this was the coolest special effect I'd ever seen. I mean, I was just blown away by this. It was like cooler than lightsabers and spaceships. I was like, oh my god, that kid melted away and light was beaming out and then he like fell out. So yeah, that was like a big moment for me as a kid. So getting this figure was really cool because it's one of my favorite moments in the entire original trilogy. And getting a carbonite block that you could, just sort of put behind him and have Han fall out of. Why doesn't Leia catch him, by the way? Why does she let him fall on the floor? I mean, I get the big reveal that, Boushh is Leia, but geez, lady, like, come on. Like, you just, like, let him fall. All right, well, despite Han's concussion, which is probably why he can't see straight, he does get quite a lot of Jabba Palace action figures, and Again, as noted, the melting version has been done, although that particular tool was never released as an unmelted one. But moving on from the figure, what's also kind of important to note was what he came with, which is one of the larger accessories for a figure, which is an entire playset. See, I always look at the figure, and playsets are the accessories. So we've had a lot of Jabba Palace playsets over the years, customs, vintage ones. I think Lego probably did the greatest one, simply because it had the most stuff, like everything, the Rancor cage, the droid torture room. And of course, then there's the Walmart sort of snap together wall one that came out recently. And this also had a Han and Carbonite, but this time with magnets.
Always with the magnets.
All right, so yeah, it was cool. You put the Carbonite block, there's a little magnet there, hang it up, whatever. So there's now a new Jabba Palace, at least throne portion, and if you are into this, I definitely suggest buying this now, because this is going to be a one and done, like sort of once in a life chance to get something like this. It's expensive, and I get why. It's, if you want a Jabba Palace throne room diorama, hey, now you have your chance from Hasbro right now. All right, enough shilling for a company I don't work for. Back to the cardboard playset. What can I say? I'm passionate about Star Wars toys. It didn't come with a Jabba. It came with the Han, and we didn't have like kind of a proper Jabba's Palace Jabba at this time. We had the vintage one, which is actually probably one of the best Jabba toys ever made. The, shall I say, least best Jabba toy ever made was really our only option in the modern line at this time. We had the special edition version, and this is when he still looked like a weird moving block of clay. We would get more Power of the Force to sort of sequels, if you will, in the modern line, in both the Saga collection and even in the short-lived 3 3/4 Black series. When at Toys R Us, they had a whole set with the Rancor. And then, of course, the Episode 1 versions. Everyone's got their favorite version of Jabba, and they're all a little different. He's a tough character to nail down, and he's a tough character to release because it's sort of like a single SKU. There's not an assortment. They've tried. I mean, he's been a deluxe figure, but it's tough. It's tough to make Jabba work. And the playset, while it was really cool and had a lot of details, including the throne, and you can see the Rancor, I don't like cardboard toys. I just personally don't like them. Especially for adult figure collecting. I mean, I know this was aimed at kids, but even as a kid, I always saw cardboard as cheap. And I don't even think I have this anymore. I think I bought it, I kept the figure, and who knows what happened to this. It was cool. I set it up a few times, but, it doesn't hold up, and the figures fall over, and, cardboard playsets. It's a cool idea, but probably why we basically got this one, which worked great with both your vintage line and your modern Star Wars figures, and then the Cantina one. So after that, they stopped shipping them, probably because they didn't sell too well. But we got 2 cool figures from that, and that's what's really cool. We'll get to this one in time. But for now, we're just going to celebrate the fact that we have a spent Carbonite Block action figure without articulation. One of the coolest Star Wars toys.